Yeah, and they all have kind of cool stories. I think something I love
Yes.
about having the adventures with whiskeys, because I don't have expensive hobbies. Like I don't golf. Um, I don't like have hot rods. I don't buy like supercar. Like I really don't have any passion that costs me a ton of money. Like I have my dogs. They cost me a ton of money, but that's different.
When you spoil
Um,
them.
exactly. So this, like, I've been able to immerse myself a little bit in it, and it's been a lot of fun. And I think I get attached to the story. I think whiskey can be a very an emotional experience too. So
Yeah. I was going to say that with the stories. Have you ever found a whiskey that you were like, and then you heard the story and you were like, oh, and actually, I like this a little bit more.
Turned it
I
around
like it.
for you.
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Now I'm emotionally biased to it, and it's the best thing on since sliced bread.
Welcome, fellow lushes. Come on in, pull up a bar stool, and enjoy some cocktails with Dimples and the Beard.
Are you scooching whiskey?
Scooching whiskey. I was blocking the D of your beard.
Scooching. Well, that's okay, because as I saw today on Josh Potter's podcast, we are just cocktails with dimples. And
But shout out to Josh. That's
I
awesome
sent
for wearing his shirt on his podcast today.
I sent Josh Potter a message and said, I'm turning 50 tomorrow, and that actually made me smile today. So thank you.
Aw. Aw.
So that was a nice early birthday present. Josh Potter is a man of his word, and we need more men like that in our world.
He's a man's man.
I don't know if he's a man's man,
Either way.
but he is a man of his word. He's a man of honor.
So we're not drinking anything right now. You want anything?
Not yet. Fuck no.
I'm going to start off cold.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Warm.
These are here for a
But
reason.
the tavern's open anyways. Because we're going to discuss your 50th. You brought it up. Let's bring it up.
It's up.
50 tomorrow.
50 tomorrow. 7
you
hours
believe
from
it?
now.
I know.
Wait, 5 hours from now.
Jokes like he's going to be 60. But regardless.
I don't give a fuck what I look like. It's what I feel like. I feel like I'm gonna be 60.
So before we break out your gifts.
It's a good thing I got a penis pump coming. Thanks, Susan Bratton.
That's a whole nother couple of episodes.
Oh, that's right. This is coming out before that.
This is coming out before that.
Nobody's gonna have any idea why I just said that. That's funny.
No,
Thanks
it'll
anyway,
all
Susan
make
Bratton.
sense when you watch all of the episodes.
Make sure you watch the episode with Susan
which you
Bratton.
gotta. So before I get to give you your first gift, we let me give you a little history of what went into it.
Okay.
All right. It was able to be, I don't know what the word is, able to come to fruition with the help of a lot of different people.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Who are all the people?
Well, let me give you, and then I'll explain it, the process.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
How's that?
Do you know what's happening here? Oh.
Don't even worry about it.
Bom, bom.
Look at that.
Wow.
Isn't that pretty?
Did you help?
What?
Am I supposed to?
Yeah, open it up. Open it up.
It's heavy.
Well,
Whatever's in. Is this shit? Did you give me a box full of shit?
I've been saving my shit for over 2 weeks just to give it to you in a box.
Oh. Are these have to be from our?
So it all started as the process of shout out to our good friend Ashley Hobbs. Hey, send me your Pop-Tart recipe. Send me your butter recipe. So shout out Ashley Hobbs.
So she sent you the recipes?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where. So she's number one to help out.
Okay.
She sent that. Shout out to me for making the butter.
You made the butter.
I made the butter. Deviated from a recipe. So that's a thank you to Mr. Bill.
Billy Malm?
Yep.
All right.
He gave me a quicker way to do it.
Okay.
And then gave the butter to your lovely lady, who then now baked the Pop-Tarts.
When the
Don't worry about it.
Wow.
So there are blueberry and strawberry Pop-Tarts in there. You can see with some frosting and some sprinkles. And that'll be a gift for
Is this for my kid?
I didn't want to waste any dough.
It's like this is a child size.
But I will say that when I was making them, I had a couple nibbles off of pieces of dough that did go into the Pop-Tarts. And
Oh, wham.
yeah, next thing you know, Kevin's getting a text. I'm fucking hot. I go to the grocery store and I don't know what to do right now.
Aw. Well, thank you, everybody. I'm so excited. I'm not going to try one of these right now, though, because I feel
Wow. Well, we talked about that. I'm like, I don't know how he's gonna not, but
Yeah.
we're gonna suggest.
like I'm just going to have a nibble.
So
Just a nibble.
I'm told that from the butter concoction, these are 35 milliliters.
They could be, but it depends on if the butter if
Yeah,
it mixed in well. It could be one could be 50 and the next one could be
it depends on. Yeah, absolutely, it depends on that.
Holy fuck.
What?
They're delicious. Oh my God.
Don't hide that.
Jesus.
Who
That's-
loves you, buddy?
That's fucking good. Apparently, a lot of people, which I would have never guessed. Most people hate me.
So that's, I don't know if you noticed, but Monday night, Ashley kind of, when she said, I gotta send you a Pop-Tart, she kind of looked at me and
I didn't notice.
gave me a smile.
so
Because I had texted her saying, still haven't given them to him. Don't mention anything tonight. Because it was a while ago.
Well,
put
good
this
on
into
her
play.
because I really, when she said it, she was like, "Oh, I'll have to send you some." I really thought, "Oh, I'm finally going to get some." God damn it! Just kidding.
She just gave her eyes went over and she smiled.
I can't believe they'd be easy to ship. I mean, it would probably cost fucking $500 to ship
That's
these
true.
from Hawaii. So
Hence, hence we'll make them.
I think maybe for my 51st birthday, we'll just come see Ashley in person
All right.
and get them there. So they'd probably taste better in Hawaii. Well, no, they wouldn't. They taste pretty damn good here.
I watch what you're saying. The
Mm.
baker's right there.
Well, I was not in any way talking about the product. I was talking about the environment.
I know.
So I think everything tastes better in Hawaii.
So there you go. You can bring those Friday.
No,
No.
fuck no.
Wow, you selfish bastard.
There's 8 of them in there.
I am not bringing. I'm sorry, but I love everybody that's going to be there, but I'm struggling with this whole 50 thing. These are for me.
Wow.
These are for me. I
didn't say you had to share with everybody, but I thought you'd want to share with
How do you be
Chad
that?
and Melissa.
How do you be that guy?
Well, you give them before everybody shows up.
Maybe I'll bring a couple.
They're
Pop-Tarts.
gonna leave on Saturday.
Maybe I'll bring a couple, and we can cut them into little chunks, and people can try them.
Right.
I don't know how strong they are, so they might kick our asses.
So that's what we'll do. Okay, fine.
You should put them in the fridge though.
Fuck.
So they don't feel melted.
That's fine. You're right. We will. I will.
Why
That's a
can't
good
I-
point. They're a little. I got home because they're outside, so I could threw them in the freezer, and then I forgot about
We
them.
had a quickie afterwards.
God damn you people.
He came and picked it up and left right away. So now you know we're not fucking. We're making you Pop-Tarts.
It's a good cover. Well played. Well played, guys. Good cover.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I mean, in the long run, if you are fucking, I don't care. I got those out of it.
You got
So. If you could stop it now, that'd be great. But
Do you want more Pop-Tarts or what?
that's true. You're right. I don't know. I got to decide whether I got to try them and see if it's worth it. If they suck, no, then yeah. Oh, yeah.
They don't. There's
Thank
no way.
you.
There's no way they're gonna suck.
Thank you.
And me, sir.
Does it say from you?
Nope. Nope. I didn't write anything.
Is this a big jar analies?
Hell yeah.
Oh, it's a shirt.
I didn't have tissue paper, so I used paper towel. Hey, I'm a classy guy.
Captain Spaulding. That is nice. I think it'll fit. I'm gonna have to shrink it because we're gonna lose some fucking.
Oh
weight.
yeah. You think the penis pump's gonna bring it all down? Your belly?
I hope so. Hope it does something.
Good collaboration on the color.
I already know what this one is because look at the tag. Oh,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
oh shit. I can see it through. This is nice. So basically, I want to put out a shout out to anybody who sees themselves on this shirt. You know who I'm talking about.
That's right. They're all there.
You all need to come on the podcast.
Talk about your movies.
Who's all on there? I shouldn't try this because I'm too high to really know who the actors' names are right now. And I don't want to be like, oh, I'm a super fan, but I can't remember their names. So
That's fine.
We're just gonna be like, I know all their names. You know who you are. Come on the podcast. Well,
Tell us about the experience of making the movie. That would be amazing.
It would be. I know. And it's about to become huge because Terrifier 3's fucking actual legitimate Hollywood budget. It's going to be fucking big Hollywood studio.
Gonna take off.
Yeah. And then once that one takes off, then 2 and 1 will.
Well, we got to get him in before
So
that.
I think Damien Leone's probably too big at this point. We don't have a chance. So we gotta start with the like actors who played the guy who saw the shit happen at the mall.
Got killed right away. And
Didn't even get killed. No, didn't get killed. You just saw him walk by in the background. I think we're gonna need to start at that level because the Terrifier has taken off. You know, I can see your face in the camera right now. You're on 3. Is it too loud?
I turned it down.
Okay.
so there you go.
Well, that is sweet.
Freakers, happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Into the 50, which is nothing. You'll be over it. Friday will.
Yeah, well, like I said, the buildup is worse than the actual number. Once I wake up Friday morning, I'm still alive. It'll be like, all right, here we go.
Right.
I guess I'm a 50-year-old now. Well, technically when I wake up tomorrow morning, but tomorrow, yeah, we'll see. I might cry a few times tomorrow.
That's fine. That's all right. Cry away.
Well, I might cry because of the fucking whiskey hangover I'm gonna have.
Yeah. So that's what we're going into.
So let's fuck my stupid shit. Let's talk about what we got coming up here and how we're gonna
do some taste testing of some whiskeys.
God damn right.
4 different whiskeys were picked out. They look delicious. They look a little different. They're all a little different.
They look like whiskey.
Rye whiskey, Irish whiskey,
Brown water in a bottle. Brown water in a glass bottle.
Yummy.
It's whiskey.
So 2 fingers.
2 fingers?
2 finger puller.
Okay. I can handle 2 fingers. Can you handle 2 fingers? Sometimes you're good with 3. 3 fingers is a good pour.
That's that's whiskey we're talking about.
Welcome back to another episode of Cocktails with Dimples in the Beard, my birthday edition.
Which you just saw prior.
5. Oh, wait. Is that backwards? 5. Oh, wait. What way would that have to be on screen? Are they seeing it right now?
Sure. We'll go with yes.
Oh,
Big 5-0 for the. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Catching up to me, man.
No, that's not true. I'm not catching up to you. No matter how old I get, you'll always be 6 years older than me, 6+ years older than me, almost 7 years older than me. Almost 7 years older than me. So,
oh no, man. Well, grandpa.
And if I shave my beard, I do look younger than you. But this beard makes me look 10 years older. So yeah, I am turning 60.
Nice.
But I look good for 60. So
damn good.
But we did arrange a good fun night for this. We're gonna be sampling some whiskeys with our former guest. Just checking to make sure we don't have any messages.
Just what you like, whiskeys.
Yeah. Well,
that's all right. Maybe you'll fall in love with one of them.
Maybe.
You know.
And I am willing to take one for the team. When a hot chick says, "Yeah, I'll come on and drink whiskeys with you and talk about whiskey,"
and you name the whiskey.
Okay. So
we'll go from there.
So here we are.
So before we let her in and do some yummy tasting, give it a like, subscribe, share our post, leave a comment, please. Appreciate it.
Tell me I look as old as a 70-year-old. I don't give a fuck.
He's as old as dirt.
Just it would be a comment, and I would reply with the same reply I reply with to all of the assholes. Thank you for your support.
Asshole.
If somebody tells me I look 70, they're being an asshole.
Somebody don't.
Thank you for your support.
All right. Let's never leave a pretty lady waiting.
So without further ado, the whiskey edition with Mrs. Mallory. Look at you.
Thanks.
You got yourself a bartender on staff for the night too?
Perfect.
I did. So I was like, get your drink now before we start recording. So how's the audios?
You got a glass of water ready.
I do. I do. I
Mhm.
have my palate cleanser.
We got a
Yeah,
bottle of water ready to go.
Nice.
So
separate glasses behind. Now, I think first the order that we want to try them from weakest to strongest, or what were you thinking?
So I was thinking weakest to strongest for me. It depends on, I say I've never had Green Spot and I'm not a huge connoisseur of Irish whiskey. It's still new to my palate.
sure.
Hmm.
So I was thinking we could either put that first or last.
Up to
Because
you.
if it's peated at all or smoky at all, it's going to impact
What
potentially.
everything else tastes like.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you got? What do you got there? You got a list on it.
I do.
Yeah. So
So
I
it's
did.
spicy with a hint of clove, green apples, rounded off with toasted oak, followed by a lingering flavor of spice and barley.
Yeah. Let me sniff it. Yeah, it
gonna
doesn't
take-
smell. It doesn't smell heavily peated. So
It's gonna
What
smell
are
like
we at?
it tastes like whiskey to me.
So,
yeah.
what does peated mean?
So peated whiskey, so Irish whiskeys and Scotch can sometimes get a peated treatment, which means that it's kilned at a certain level. They actually take peat, which is like a dirty mass that you find in like bogs, and they smoke that to enhance the flavor of the grain. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. That really makes it sound appetizing. They find this.
Well, until you have one that's heavily peated and you're like, holy smokehouse in my mouth. What is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Not a
Yeah.
huge smoky fan.
I am not either. I'm not
Yeah.
not a big fan of the smoky flavors. So
I'm not. High West came out with a campfire
Hmm.
Whiskey, and it was literally like a smoke in your mouth. It was crazy.
yeah, just the name of it doesn't sound good to me. Like I wouldn't even want like
No. And we did. I got one of those smokers that you put on top of your glass, and it's gimmicky. I don't know.
yeah, we did that on one of our episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a good smoked old fashioned. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, okay.
When it's done right, it's just when it's overpowering. Have you ever done barbecue and used too much liquid smoke?
Sure.
That's what it tastes like to me
Sure.
when there's too much of it. So,
Sure.
so did you want to go ahead and go order from weakest to strongest, which means we'll start with the Green Spot and then go Michter's, Blade, and then finish off with nearest?
Works for me.
That sounds
All right,
perfect.
awesome.
By the way, before we get going, just my lady here is off camera here. She's a whiskey lover. She's sitting right here. So
Hey,
you want to say hi?
hi, gorgeous. Ladies who love whiskey. That needs to be like a whole society in and of itself.
Oh, there you go.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a perfect name for a podcast.
Hey, there we go.
I'm just saying. might want to check the URLs though. It's probably out there already.
I think
It
so.
might be. It might be.
There's over like 2 million podcasts now, so it's probably somewhere. So, let's talk neat versus rocks,
Okay.
because I already know I will try them all neat if you tell me that they should be tried neat, but I will then put ice in because I know I can't drink a lot of it neat.
That's fair.
But if
That's
your
right.
recommendation is neat, I will try it that way first.
For my palate and for my pleasure, I try everything neat. So I get the full experience of the whiskey. And that's how I typically drink it, except in summertime, because it's so hot outside,
Sure.
then I'll do it on a large cube.
Okay.
But I also drink faster because I don't want it to get too watered down. So it's like a catch-22.
Fair enough.
So
Yeah.
your husband is probably dropping ice in there for you then.
Oh, big time. Big time. No, tonight I
Speed it
turned
up,
the
speed it
AC down. I turned the AC down like super low. I hope my HVAC can handle it because I'm drinking everything neat.
Perfect. Well, let's give her a start then.
Green
Awesome.
Spot.
So you already kind of gave us a little bit about Green Spot.
Yes.
Right. Yep, I mentioned the flavor. So it started. I just took a little bit. Started as a bakery in 1805.
Ooh.
And then they went into wines. And then what they do is they had all their old wine barrels of sherry, port, and then they would send it to Jameson. Jameson would fill it, and then they would let it sit underneath the streets in Dublin.
Yeah.
And for I don't know how long. And that's what it is today.
Well, they let it however long
Fascinating.
It was under the street for 10 years if it had a green spot, right? Didn't you say that?
Yes, there's different spots. I guess I don't know if it started off that way
Sure.
or what.
Yeah.
But today, green spot is 10-year. Then they have a
That's
blue
great that it's
spot.
got I love that it has an age statement.
What is that? I didn't read it.
What is it? Just tell us some interesting factoids. You probably want to read on camera. We don't like dead air.
No, I'm trying to find what she's.
Yeah, because I'm going to start making jokes about the G spot over here.
Yes, please. Well, if you're seeing it, read it. I don't know what you're.
Just pour. Let's drink.
Yeah.
So let's do. How much you putting in? 2 fingers.
So for me, I do about a finger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's sample first, and then once we come to an idea of the one that we like the best, then we can pour a full one for the ending.
Yeah. So do you monitor its legs before you drink it, like the sommeliers do with their wine, like when they swish it to like release the
Tell us what that
flavors?
means. Okay.
So it's something I learned when I was in Bardstown. So you swish your neat whiskey, and then you can kind of see how it like drips down the edges of the glass. And sometimes it's thicker, sometimes it's thinner. And they call that the legs of the whiskey. And that could be anything from like the corn content to the rye content, and to how long it's aged, its viscosity.
So do you want it to drip longer? Typically,
I don't know that I've ever looked at it and go, the legs determine the flavor. For me, it's more of a mouthfeel, like how sticky or how watery it is.
Okay. That makes sense.
So the faster it runs down, obviously the more watery it is.
Yes. And sometimes I feel like it's the younger it is too, because that less evaporation has happened in the barrel. So it's got the viscosity's a little lighter.
Nice.
So what's your favorite mouthfeel?
Such an interesting question.
Not exclusive to whiskey.
Ladies who love whiskey.
It is not just for puns, but seriously, like a thick, full mouthfeel is what I like. But I also like the higher proof whiskeys, which tend to be older too.
Okay.
I like it thicker too.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right.
Salute.
Plancha. Oh, it's a little smoky, but not overpowering.
Nope, not overpowering. It's got a little behind, a little lingering. Yep. Okay.
Just gonna watch all you whiskey drinkers do your thing.
Now, do you ever sniff it, or because we were doing the legs?
I do. I'll sniff it like when it, like I open the bottle, but I really sniff it in the glass because I don't know that I have. Like, I think I have a decent palate, but it's really hard to get some notes. Like I can get it if it's really perfumey or oaky, but like the deeper notes, I don't know that I was custom made for that.
Sure.
Yeah. But it's delicious. Like I'm getting some cherry in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's from the sherry cask that it
yeah.
sat in.
I taste whiskey.
I apologize. I wasn't sure if you guys were talking to me when you were referencing, like, tell us something about this green spot. My dog was having a panic attack in the background. So low key, I was having a panic attack too. I'm like, I don't know who's talking to who.
That's all right. We got through it. Is the dog okay?
The dog is fine. She's just a little bit of a diva. Mom's not tangible right now. So that's a problem.
Like you're wasting that. So one last tidbit on the whiskey. It started by Robert Mitchum.
Stop.
What?
The whiskey people will tell you how to drink your whiskey is how you like your whiskey.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting it.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just meant the cube.
I'm sorry for killing your water bill.
Water's not cheap these days.
Put it on the LLC.
Like 16 big things of that.
Put it on the LLC. You'll be fine.
So who started it was the Mitchell family, Robert Mitchell. And what he put into his family is that every firstborn child of each generation of Mitchells needs to be called Robert. And that's still active to this day. So there's a lot of Roberts in the family.
Fuck the patriarchy.
Yeah, right. That sounds like a family where everyone calls you by your middle name.
Yeah, because they have to.
Yeah.
And if it's a girl,
yeah. I mean, she'd go by Bobby.
Now there you go. All right. There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of hot.
Bobby's always the troublemaker anyway.
It is now.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And everyone has a Bobby in the family. Like I'm convinced a Bobby and a Mike somewhere.
I got them. I got both.
Yeah. Same.
2 Bobbies. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't. I got none of those.
So what did you think of that? Now,
I
as far
like
as
it.
just the general overview, and then, I mean, not to be weird or not to rate it,
Oh,
were
be
we
weird.
rating these?
Yeah, we can rate them. I think like once we're finished, maybe we each personally like say what was our favorite and our least favorite. Like
Yeah.
I never like to say the worst because everything's got potential. Just because it's not for my palate doesn't make it bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And I feel like I can't because I'm not a whiskey drinker.
yeah.
So there's no way I could properly rate this one right now because I have no idea what the rest of them are like.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So,
That's fair.
if you're experienced with whiskey, you probably have an idea of what these are going to be like. But I'm coming at this completely blind.
That's all right.
Yeah,
That's all right.
fair. This is, I would actually put this, if you haven't had a lot of experience with Irish whiskey, this is a great intro. Like it's, I think it ran about maybe $60, which wasn't terrible. I think that's kind of like that 40 to 65 range. If I'm going to just sip on a drink or make a cocktail, that's kind of my favorite zone to be in as far as price point goes. Sometimes you'll splurge, but that's a nice intro.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Now that I waste it, I actually like it.
Okay.
So fuck off.
I do.
And shut your fucking mouth.
I do like the bite of this one. A little bit. I do like the bite of this one.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of in the back of the throat a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I can always, all that taste the flavors that come out and the notes. I don't know. I don't know that I can. I know what I'm doing there. I definitely don't know what I'm doing there.
Yeah. I can usually do like the fruit and the like level of oak. Sometimes I can get close to where the char is, like on the barrel, if it's a 1 or a 3. But that's probably it. Like some people get like that leather and tobacco. And I'm like, first of all, I've never chewed on my purse, which I don't know what leather tastes like. And tobacco, hard pass.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
when you mention a number, is that the level of how much they charred the barrels?
yeah. Yeah. And the cooperage, it which is the actual barrel. So the level of char they have is anywhere between a 1, which is the lowest, and 4, which is the highest, and how burnt effectively that barrel is on the inside.
Okay.
And it affects obviously the flavor as well as aging, but also the color. Sometimes the lighter colors, there's a one that got pretty popular last year. It's called Town Branch. I think they got bought along with is it Wilderness Trail? They had a couple of very light bourbons, and they weren't just on the young side, maybe 4-year age statements, which makes them pretty young. They were also in char 1s and char 2s, which made them really, really light.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
This one didn't talk about charring the barrel. I mean, not saying they didn't, but it's.
Well, I don't think Irish whiskey has to be finished in American oak.
And they didn't they didn't mention American oak.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
So the
curious,
way they finish it is a little different.
How long first of all, how long have you been a whiskey drinker?
So I discovered the pleasure of whiskey probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
I was a pretty solid like vodka beer girl. And I actually had to stop drinking beer. I had to get away from like that gluten genre.
Yeah.
And I was really, really mad about it. And vodka just wasn't fun to drink. Vodka is something you drink and you can mix it with something and make it taste like something else, but it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Like vodka is something you drink when, you're on spring break.
Right.
So
Vodka, you're drinking vodka for the wash, essentially.
Exactly.
It's an alcoholic wash is what you're drinking.
Lemonade in the summer. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not for sport. And we had a friend that introduced me to oh my gosh, it was actually, I want to say American honey. It was like a flavored whiskey.
Okay.
And I was like, whiskey doesn't taste as bad as I remember, because my first experience with alcohol was Wild Turkey 101. And I can tell you that did not work out in my favor.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad thought it was hilarious when I was sick for 2 days afterwards, but I did not.
Was it his Wild Turkey?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was the kid that filled up the brown bottle with clear water, like no one would notice.
We were so
keeps getting
smart as
lighter
kids.
and
We were
lighter.
so smart.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We can outsmart our parents.
Oh
so
yeah.
so you've been drinking it for 10 years pretty religiously. How long did it take you to kind of develop the ability to be able to pull out these flavors? Did you have some of it right away, or
So I think like once you identified, it's kind of like teaching your kid like the difference between being mad and being frustrated when they're little. Like you have conversations with other people, like I taste something and I don't know what it is. It reminds me of, and like I'd name a food I ate, like amaretto. They're like, oh, that's probably almond. Like we go to whiskey tastings, or I've been very lucky to meet a lot of like distillers and artisanal distillers and master distillers just over the last 2-3 years. So I've really been able to kind of like drill that down, but that's only been over the last couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe someday I'll get there.
Yeah. I do not have that sommelier palate where I can like draw them down with every sip. Like there's
Yeah.
I can get the baseline usually.
Sure.
well, that's what I'm wondering. How much of it is an acquired skill, and how much of it is just something you naturally have? Because I don't feel like, I mean, even with wine, which I drink, well, I don't drink a lot of anymore, but I used to drink quite a bit of red wine, and I
Mhm.
never had that ability to be able to be, oh, this is obviously blackberry with, like
Yeah.
it was all red wine. I don't
Well, I think also how much you want to know the difference between them,
possibly.
and then you know, over the years, you learn more. Just like a lot of things, you learn more about it.
Yeah, no, I think you're both right. I also think it has something to do with your sense of smell, because your smell and taste are like hooked, right?
Sure.
So you experience them both at the same time. I was
Right.
taught you're supposed to inhale a little bit as you drink, and I'm like, I don't know if you notice that I'm blonde. I might actually drown. So I don't know.
I
That's great
inhale
advice.
too aggressively.
Just being honest.
I would imagine you'd have a lot of volunteers to mouth, just if you did ever drown. So you're okay.
Keeps
You're
me
blonde, so
aspirating.
you might drown. I've got giant nostrils, so I
he would
might drown
die.
as well.
We didn't say snort the whiskey.
right. That's what, I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm like in the same boat as you. Love beer, vodka. I had to give up the beer, which I was mad about, and then vodka wasn't the same. And so that's when I started getting more and more into whiskeys.
Yeah. And it's I love that I started getting into whiskey right before it started to become cool. Like I think we were about 1 to 2 years like really exploring it, and then the market took off.
Sure.
And it just became insane. Like we used to buy Elmer T. Lee and Blanton's right off the shelf. Like there was tons of stock. No one knew what it was, and it was going for $35 and $45 a bottle. So it was like a great value. I was in the liquor store this weekend looking for a green spot. Like it was fun actually to go on the hunt. I ended up with like 3 or 4 other bottles of like other things that I didn't need. Looking for this.
Figured that'd be the case.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Hence
and they
the
had
background.
Whoops, that shelf happened over the weekend. But they had allocations, and I saw Blanton's, and underneath it said $1.99. I was like, never in a million years will I pay that for that bottle. I know it's sought after and it's a rarity now, but I just don't know that it drinks like a $200 bottle.
Not when you've been drinking it, religiously over before that.
Yeah. There's just I think something this trend has done is brought a lot of really great options to the market at affordable price points too.
Sure.
That is, you're right. You kind of get both ends of it, right? You get the ones that are kind of overvalued because people decide that that's the one that you have to have. But then you also get ones that are in the middle of the pack that are really good that people don't really know about, that you're like, wow, this is a great deal because it's not the cool kids whiskey.
Yeah.
All it takes nowadays is someone like Joe Rogan to mention it, and then it just takes off.
Like Buffalo Trace?
Buffalo Trace was just
there
boom.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I was so mad. We were I was watching reruns of Desperate Housewives, whatever, judge me if you like. But there's a scene with Felicity Huffman and her husband, and she was bringing him a bottle of scotch, and she had Blanton's in her hand. And I was like, that would never fly today. Like even people who don't drink whiskey know that that's not scotch.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I thought you were going to say that was kind of part of the start of it blowing up, or like it got seen on Sex in the City and everybody had to have it.
It probably would have been around that time.
Yeah,
it was about,
sure.
Yeah, because that show's got to be close to 50. It's at least 15 years old, at least.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I forgot about it. I do have a bottle that I paid close to $300 for. But it was Jack Daniel's Select Frank Sinatra
Ooh.
edition that
Ooh.
I have not opened yet.
Okay,
That
so
was-
you're gonna call me and I'll come over when you're ready.
Yeah.
All right, and I'll bring like one of my Japanese bottles or something with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
100%. Yes. The only time was when my son had his child, I said, hey, there's an occasion. We'll have a glass of whiskey in their hospital. I'll bring it. And he's like, I'm not drinking whiskey. So I'm like, all right. And then it's just been sitting there ever since. So waiting for the right time.
Well, don't die before the right time. That's all I gotta say.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
I will definitely share.
yeah. I'm gonna have like a real like conversation at some point because we either have to do something and like enjoy them in life or like put them in like a living will, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Because I know my kids will not hesitate to drink those.
Mhm.
They'll be like, we'll enjoy them for you.
Yeah. We got this.
They're so nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got this. Are we on to the next one?
I am so ready for the next one.
Okay. But then
right.
must really like it. So we have new glasses.
I do. Actually, I have to admit that I like all of them. I'm going to take
Sure.
a quick drink. I'm biased, but I will say I'm betting at least one of these will not be for your palates.
Okay.
For sure. They're so different.
Which I appreciate. And I have not had any of them.
Really?
Yeah,
Ooh,
none of
this
them
is
tonight.
exciting. I love it. Okay.
Here, I'll smell the cork.
Yes.
Oh.
So this one's going to be a little bit on the sweeter side. And
Okay.
yeah. So this one's a rye, which means mash bill. The grains that it's made out of is obviously more rye, right? To classify as such. And Michter's has got an incredible story. This brand has effectively changed hands, I don't know, maybe a couple dozen times over the course of 270 years. So it's the oldest whiskey in America that we know of.
Oh, wow.
This was established in 1753 by a Swiss Mennonite named John Schenk. Whiskey connoisseurs know of Shanks, right? And that's an homage to the original guy. And it was so popular over here because of its flavor and ease of being able to drink. Because whiskey was pretty harsh back then. I mean,
I
think
can
like
imagine.
ether, like it was strong.
Yeah.
That General George Washington actually went there. And let me back up a little bit. They were actually founded in Pennsylvania, right? So think Revolutionary War time or pre-Revolutionary War. And it garnered such a reputation that General George Washington went and got barrels to fortify his men in the winter when they were when they were on the Delaware.
Yep.
So
perfect.
Yeah, I knew the tale of whiskey. I didn't know it was this way. That's cool.
Yeah. So 1753, I think it changed hands in like the mid 1800s by a man named Boomberg. And then it's still in Pennsylvania. And then I believe Prohibition hit. So Prohibition, like 1919, kind of killed the market, right?
Right.
Well, exactly. But what happened, instead of dumping this out, they had the existing barrels that were still available in churches like they did the Liberty Bell during the Revolutionary War.
Nice.
Yeah, dirty scoundrels. So they had some once it was overturned. So let me think. I think Lou Foreman, does that ring a bell? Very popular in the 1950s from a whiskey brand. He's actually the one that picked this up after Prohibition because a lot of places went bankrupt, and he kind of saved it at the time from bankruptcy and ended up changing the name from John Shanks to Michter's, which is a combination of his son's name. He had Michael and Peter.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. And he had it for about 30, 40 years, like that mid to late 80s when the market turned down and everyone actually went bankrupt. The whiskey market, like the bottom just fell out of it. If it wasn't for the Japanese market, it may not actually exist today.
Wow.
So Michter's was gone. And then somewhere in the 90s, these two guys, one guy from Yale and one guy who was an ex-Marine, but both had industry experience, said, you know what we want to do? We want to make really great whiskey for all palates. And they ended up buying the trademark. And in the early 2000s, started formulating the distillation and the rick house and everything in Kentucky. So that's how Michter's was reborn again, effectively. But it's probably the oldest whiskey in American history.
Wow. That's
okay.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Now I'm
Do you want
excited
to
about
smell
this.
it, and then I'll give you the notes after we taste it?
Okay. Oh, it definitely smells different than the first. Definitely.
It does not have the bite and the smell. The first one when I smelled, I was like, whoa, this one's a little smoother. And yeah.
Yeah, this one's oaky.
Yeah, it's definitely oaky.
Smell. Oh, completely different
Mm-hmm.
and sweet. Mm-hmm. And okay.
I taste fruity pebbles. Am I right?
Spot on. So it's definitely spicier, right? Like you get that
Yes.
warmness, kind of like you drank like apple cider, like hot apple cider on a fall day.
Sure.
It's a little apple forward as far as fruits go. You maybe pick up some cherries in there. But I think, and especially for me, a really good rye has a little bit of that spice to it. And I think they did a good job with that. The legs on it, you can see it's probably got a higher content and has been in the barrel maybe a little bit longer. This is technically a no age statement, which means it's a single barrel. I don't think it's got an age statement on it that I saw. Let me go
Okay.
look. No age statement on it, but it is a single barrel, but it's probably been in there a little while. And the char is probably a little heavier because it's like stickier. You can see the thicker drips down the glass.
Oh, yeah.
So it
Yes,
feels thicker
definitely.
in the mouth. So I
A
feel
little
like
bit.
the
It
Yeah.
does.
flavor, yeah, I think you get like the flavor sticks a little harder
Yep.
or a little longer.
So
It definitely is sticking around with me.
for being a complete whiskey amateur novice, what is the main difference between a rye whiskey and just Kentucky whiskey?
So it comes down to the grain, right?
Okay.
So the mash bill is really where it starts. So and it's the first pillar of making a distillate. So you have corn, wheat, and rye, right? And so
Okay.
for a legit rye, the rye content has to be a specific amount. I wish I could pull that out of my brain out of thin air because there is a percentage that makes
Okay.
them qualify for it.
Sure.
I can't remember. I tend to like bourbons that are a little more wheated.
Okay.
I have friends that like a little more corn forward, so it makes them a little naturally sweeter. Ryes, if you're again introing into whiskey, are kind of a great starter because they do tend to find that sweeter edge of the palate while still giving you some of the savory notes, so you can make a plethora of cocktails and maybe even sometimes omit the sugar based on the flavor of the whiskey. This is probably one I'd make like a spin on an old fashioned and omit any sugar component.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Interesting.
So
Yeah, a lot-
you still use and I don't want to say we'll say $50 bottles of whiskey with a wash, with like an old fashioned and stuff. You wouldn't. I tend to.
For
Okay.
sure, because I do believe a really good craft cocktail will bring out the natural flavors of what you're drinking, not mask it. If you're trying to mask it, get an Evan Williams bottle and have at it. Like,
Right.
don't even bother.
My thought. Yeah.
Yeah, a really good craft cocktail. And I've actually started experimenting. We talked about smoke earlier.
Yeah.
Like there's a smoked rosemary old fashioned recipe
Oh.
that I found and tried a couple weeks ago. It's a little complicated, not as sexy to me because I haven't really like mastered it yet. It's more of a like crisis moment for me, but it did work out in flavor at the end. That actually brought out the flavor of the rye and made it even a little more sweet, which was fascinating.
Huh.
So you just kind of like, it's like staging your house, but like your glass before you make the cocktails.
Sure.
It was really
Interesting.
cool.
I've
Okay.
seen that. Yep.
Okay.
The one bar
Yeah.
I was at, the one speakeasy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. They
So
were doing
yeah.
that.
my whiskey drink of choice, I do love a good whiskey sour, like the legitimate with the egg white and all that. Do you have a recommendation for a whiskey for that drink?
Ooh, so whiskey sour we can do two ways that I enjoy it. The next one that we're gonna drink is called Blade and Bow.
Yep.
It's a traditional bourbon. It's not overproof. It's got a great flavor profile and it does really nice at stretching that flavor with the sour mix.
Yeah.
Or the sour component like the lemons that's in a whiskey sour. Or there's a Irish whiskey called Writer's Tears and Lumavati. Actually, both of those are really, really good Irish whiskeys that I'm personally fond of. And I think they're great in whiskey sours. I've had them both that way, as well as espresso martinis.
Okay.
Instead of vodka and Kahlua, it's half and half and the Irish whiskey.
Oh,
Wow.
Life changing.
okay.
Yeah.
I want to experiment so much more now.
Yeah. Well, and those two, if you're wondering where that peatiness comes from, those have a light to medium peat to them.
Okay.
So unlike Green Spot, which didn't really have any peat to it, it was very light bodied.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now I'm going to tell you this neat. I could not drink.
Okay.
I am not the more I drink of it, the less I like this one. The more I drank of it, the more I liked it. This one is the complete opposite.
Okay. It is completely different. Yeah.
It is.
It's a different
night and
taste.
day.
Yeah.
And because so the first drink is supposed to just adjust your palate, right? That this is where you're getting to know the whiskey a little bit. It's the second and third drink that you decide whether or not it's for you.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a question. So drinking whiskey neat, sometimes they'll put just a little bit of water in the glass with it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's supposed to change the flavor. Do you know anything about that?
So, I mean, obviously it's a chemical reaction, right? When you add one liquid of one substance to another. And from a palate perspective, it's supposed to help stretch out those flavors and help you identify them independently.
Okay.
That's how it was explained to me. Whether or not that's law and physics, I have no idea.
Yeah, so it's literally like drops of water, not much of anything.
Correct. Yep.
Huh.
Yep. Like 2 to 3 drops per ounce at most.
Oh, wow.
Right. Which most bars don't know what to do with. When I
right.
When
you want whiskey water,
I say whiskey and just a drop of water, it comes back full of water, and I've just given up. Just a splash of water. And
I have a friend who's like makes my love of whiskey look like a blasé hobby.
Yeah.
He will he's very specific about it, and he'll either bring his own dropper or scoop it with his finger and measure it out for his water bag. Then that's how he drinks it, specifically with 3 drops of water and 1.5 ounces.
Okay. That's a good way to look. I just wait for it to get like the ice to melt a little bit.
Exactly.
And then that's when I start drinking it. But I get it out on the rocks is not what I do.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier. Let it melt a little bit.
I really want you to start traveling with your own water dropper.
I kind of do too.
Yes, that would be.
I
would take your pretentious to a whole new level.
I can't wait.
You won't look like Rain Man at all.
Especially in the dive bars that I walk into, and I pull that fucker out, doop, doop, and there. After I get my ass kicked.
The dive bars sometimes have hidden gems in them. I've found bottles I haven't seen in like years and dive bars, and they're like, yeah, that's $15 for a drink. I'm like, the whole bottle, please.
Just leave her here.
It's right here, bartender. Like the Wild West.
All right.
I wish I could know when I run into those odd bottles, when I go into dive bars. I just hoping to get there someday. Hoping to get there someday.
More episodes like this, you'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely remember these 4 names moving forward. For sure.
Nice. And like I said, my feelings aren't hurt if you don't like them. I picked them specifically because they're so different.
Yeah.
That's and I like the way that you did that. So they weren't all. Wouldn't make sense to do all the same thing.
Right. Yeah. So for sure.
Yeah, and they all have kind of cool stories. I think something I love about having the adventures with whiskeys, because I don't have expensive hobbies. Like I don't golf. I don't like have hot rods. I don't buy like supercar. Like I really don't have any passion that costs me a ton of money. Like I have my dogs, they cost me a ton of money, but that's different.
When you spoil them.
Exactly. So this, like, I've been able to immerse myself a little bit in it, and it's been a lot of fun. And I think I get attached to the story. I think whiskey can be an emotional experience too. So
yeah, I was gonna say that with the stories. Have you ever found a whiskey that you were like, and then you heard the story and you were like, oh, and actually I like this a little bit more.
Turned it around for you.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Now I'm emotionally biased to it, and it's the best thing on since sliced bread.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I looked up each one of them as well. You're doing a better job than I ever would explaining it, but it was fun to read into them all.
Yeah. Some of them have really, really incredible stories, and Again, it's just a lot of fun. There's 2 other distilleries you should check out when you get a chance, that are kind of off the beaten path. I've fallen in love with Old Elk. They can be
Okay.
a little hard to find, but now they have their own shelf exactly right there.
Holy
wow.
cow.
Yeah. They have a lot of different expressions, but their mash bill is really solid. And some of the bottles can get a little pricey, but even at their entry level, like it's a really good sip. And High West is good too. And they're out of Utah?
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
before we go on to the next one,
Mhm.
I want to make sure we celebrate the fact that we are talking to one of the members of the 10,000 View Club, because I'm sure by the time we are done recording this, we will have eclipsed 10,000 views. So
Awesome.
we can't thank you enough for helping us
Aw.
reach that milestone.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
you guys are so much fun. I am blessed and honored that I'm part of that club. It
Well
is,
deserved. That's for sure.
Just you and Mrs. Andy. That's it.
Who do I know
Mrs.
this person? No, I'm kidding.
Maybe. I don't know. If you scour the internet hard enough, you might find out.
I love her.
Hard to say.
She may be one of the only people that's willing to admit that she's my friend. So I love her. That's awesome.
We'll admit it.
I'll admit it. Yes, I will admit it. All right. I have the highest hopes for this one because if I ever drink whiskey, typically I do like bourbon.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
And it's got a cool key.
yes, and
Yeah.
I'm keeping that.
Yeah, this one is so much fun. So I'm going to show my biasm, and they get the Clarence gas. Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh, fancy. So
Very.
these actually that I was drinking out of earlier, these were a gift. These are hand blown out of Vermont. A friend of ours brought these down to us as a gift, but they're fluted, so they're still great for tasting. They kind of like open up those flavors. Do you see that save?
That's very-
yeah. It was,
Very smooth.
it was about to be
Yeah.
some tears spilled.
So Blade and Bow, this is actually a staple of mine. This is a weekly sipper.
Okay.
It's I would consider all purpose. You can use it in a cocktail, you can do it neat, you can do it on the rocks, a little bit of water back. I typically do this one on a large rock, kind of like spread the flavors out a little bit, especially with it being summer.
Sure.
But it has a cool story. So it does have a novelty factor, right? So it comes with these keys.
Right.
And there's technically 6 of them. 5 of them occupy this bottle, kind of like the Blanton's shtick, right? The running horses. Each of these keys are different. There's a 6th key that most of us will never see because it resides in a 22-year that is very, very expensive. Like ridiculously expensive, like a semester of college expensive. So most of us will not see that 6th key. But the 5 keys comes from the 5 original brass keys that hung on the door of the Stitzel Weller distillery, which is where Blade and Bow came from. It's actually owned by Diageo now. Stitzel Weller, I think, sold to them in 92, early 90s, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And it also represents the 5 pillars of whiskey. So you have grain, yeast, fermentation, distillation, and aging. So, and it's called Blade and Bow for the skeleton keys. So those keys were all skeleton keys. So the blade was the shaft of the key, and the bow is that ornate end.
Oh,
so it's kind of got this poetic romance to the novelty of it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it makes it kind of cool. It also uses something called the Solera process. So this is actually a blended whiskey, which means it comes from more than one barrel. So what they do in the Solera process, and they do this with Marsala wine out of Italy, is they take the oldest barrel and they bottle some of it. And then they take the next oldest barrel and marry those together. And then on to the next one and marry that, and so on and so forth. And with this like trickle down effect where they take all of them and effectively, mathematically, by that last barrel, that whiskey's technically older than the original one.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it still has a little bit of the original, what do they call it? I know I have that it's fractional blending, but there's a name for the original part. There's still Stitzel Weller original in every bottle of these. We just don't know how much at this point, even though Diageo owns it now. But because they keep blending in that fractional blending, there's still some in there. We don't know how much, but there's still some in there. So, yeah. So these notes are going to be much different than the rye.
Yeah, I already took too big of a sniff, then it's stronger than the other ones.
It's definitely, I'd call it like perfumed or floral. Like it's
Okay.
strong.
Yes.
It is a strong scent.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to clean my palate real quick. Then what I thought was the most fascinating tidbit about this brand is that it's actually located on Fitzgerald Road. And that's my last name.
Oh, that's cool.
Always finding a way to make it about you.
Yeah.
As long as you're making it about you, make me an ice cube.
So that one is not
Just drop it in.
screaming at you.
Yeah. This one will kind of smack your ass a little bit. It lets you know it's bourbon. It is definitely classic bourbon. It's spicy. It's definitely warm on the front and the back.
Yeah.
To me, it kind of tastes like Christmas. Like it's got these nice spice notes, not super
Warm spices.
Yeah. Not super fruity. Some people call like, oh, it's got some pear or apricot. I don't know that I've caught that before, but and some of the reviews that I've read on it and other people's like anecdotal like feedback, I've gotten that. I feel like it's a spicy bourbon. I think it's fantastic in cocktails. It's a little harder to sip neat if that's not if you don't like it hot like that, you don't like it with a spicy front, you're probably going to want that water back or mix it.
Yeah, because you get no break from it. It's warm from the time it comes in your mouth till the time it hits your belly. Yeah.
Is it?
No, it's a remarkable difference.
Yeah. What does it say about me that's my favorite? That I like that Kentucky hug. And it just like sits there and just squeezes me tight.
Oh, very nice. I don't dislike it, but it is the oddest flavor of them all to me. Yeah. And I don't know what I mean by the oddest, but just and sweet. It's sweet to me.
Yeah, it's a polarizing one. You either love it or hate it for the most part. By the third sip, you'll be like, I don't know if this is for me.
Here's number 3. We'll find out.
But with an ice cube, I really like it.
Ooh, yeah.
So
I think it tastes very good neat. It feels like comforting.
Like you're getting a hug.
Yeah.
Kentucky hug.
Ooh. Apparently I don't cuddle you enough.
Ooh. That is a strong. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Put an ice cube in it. Helps a little bit.
I might.
Yeah.
I might.
Doesn't make you any less manly.
No. Actually, I
does it? Wait, does it? Does it make me any less manly?
No.
Good.
Well, I don't know. Ask the lady expert. I don't know. Every time you say that.
No.
Every time you say that, I'm going to tell them yes. So
yeah. No, you hit the nail on the head. We can talk about like how you're supposed to do anything. The net of it is any real whiskey drinker is going to tell you drink it how you like it. It's your whiskey. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
I'll tell you how I like mine. I won't judge you. Now, if you take a nice bottle and mix it with Diet Coke, I might cringe a little bit, but I will.
Amen to that. That I agree 1,000% with.
No.
Yes. If you want a fucking whiskey and Coke, drink the fucking rail shit or Jack, good old normal bottle of Jack.
Jack or Jim, man, all the way. Yeah.
That's
sure.
Fine. I mean, I'm the same way with tequila. If I'm gonna have like a margarita, you can give me any old tequila. But if we're gonna have something, to sip on or something, then you want to spend a little money within your tequila, right?
You should.
Did I hear we're doing a tequila tasting next?
Heck yeah.
We can do that too.
Yeah. But it's hiding in the background, but I do have a tequila shelf all the way.
All we can say is Santo has to be included because we are getting Sammy Hagar on this podcast.
Ooh.
We had his daughter. We are getting Sammy Hagar on this podcast.
I believe in you, and I'm totally here for it. Please.
We are both lovers of Sammy Hagar. I fully believe he is the coolest man on earth.
He's pretty cool. Like I was the outsider when he started that band or was in the band Chickenfoot, which was kind of like a throwback to like classic Sammy Hagar and like that genre. And it wasn't like cool at the time. And I took a lot of hate for it. I'm like, yeah, you guys just don't know.
You put Sammy and Michael on the same stage. I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who the other two members were of Chickenfoot, but I know it was those two. And
it was like one of those. Yeah, it was one of those like mega bands, like Velvet Underground or something, like where a bunch of them came together and just started jamming, and it worked.
And yes, just jamming, it sounded phenomenal. Yeah.
And
actually, after the second sip, in my head, I said, I'd like to try this on ice.
Yeah.
And so it's in. We're giving it, letting it cool a little bit.
Doesn't
There you
take
go.
long. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not, the ice isn't in there to water it down. The ice is in there to cool it off.
Chill it off. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's why you use these big giant ice cubes, right? You're not trying to water it
Yeah.
down.
That's just it. Which is, again, I'll go back to my statement of I love it, like especially in the summertime. But it does pick up my pace of drinking because I don't want it to like overwater my beverage.
Sure.
So
It completely changes the taste.
This is the first one of the three that I could see myself actually sitting down and drinking.
Completely changes.
Like as an actual drink and not just sampling for views.
Yeah.
Don't like it on ice.
It's perfect.
You don't like it on
I
ice?
don't like it on ice.
Wow,
It's
okay.
very good.
It kills a lot of the flavor, it seems
It
like.
does.
It does seem like it kills the flavor.
Yeah, it does take the heat away, so it dampens the spice a bit, and maybe that's where you get those fruity notes. It softens it and let you dig in
That's
there
true.
a bit. This is definitely, I call this a porch sipper. I'll take my dogs outside. We have a beautiful sunset in the backyard, and I'll sip on this and let them run around, act a fool for about an hour or two.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll check on that. That's interesting.
All right. Well, I have a new leader.
Do we want to have like do we want to start the ranking like to see where everything sets, or do we want to wait till we finish the last one?
So you're asking that because what are you expecting in the last one that's 100 proof? Miss Whiskey.
I'm gonna fall off my chair. That's what I'm expecting.
Oh, come on, you're a professional.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't drink a lot anymore. That's what's funny is we started this podcast, and when we started, I was more of a drinker.
Drank a lot.
And now I smoke a lot of weed and really only drink on the podcast. This is really the only time I drink.
That's fair.
So yeah, I'm just not my thing anymore.
Yeah. I'm down to like on the weekends, because it's really when you work from home or you're in business in your home, like, or it's very accessible.
Yeah.
It's easy to be like, oh, I'll just have a cocktail and whatever. So I've like limited myself to to the weekends, which my tolerance has definitely gone down.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I do like the thought of drinking this way because you're not drinking a lot. You're not putting any sugar into your body.
Yep.
You're not, so it's, if I was going to drink, this is more, I mean, this is something I would prefer over just a bunch of mixed drinks, I guess.
Well, I agree. And that's what I do, have been accustomed to now is just drinking.
I mean, unless it's a
sipping.
fist bump.
Yeah.
Sipping the good booze with all that sugar and stuff piling up.
Yeah.
It's so much better. Yeah. I can't believe how much that changed it.
Yeah.
Well, and I
Yeah,
think
it's a fun
nice,
one.
too,
And then when
because-
you add stuff like an orange peel or an orange,
Okay.
just an orange slice,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you'd be surprised how much so like the water back dampens the heat a little bit, brings out like the fruity notes. You put just an orange, like a sliver in there, and it almost like, to me, I'm like, this tastes a little bit like a Fanta or a bourbon. Like it's so funny how it just kind of adopts and changes. Yeah.
Nice.
That's probably, if I'm going to do a little water back, my favorite way to drink it is an orange sliver
Okay.
with one rock, let it melt just a wee bit, and then sip on that.
So have you ever used, and I got these as a gift a couple of years ago. I don't know if they're metal or something that you freeze cubes that you put in so it doesn't get watered down, but it's supposed to chill your drink as well.
Yeah.
I forget what they're called.
Yeah. So I think I've seen there's stone versions and ceramic versions and stainless steel versions. Again, I'm not a physics major, even though the glasses do make me look smarter than I am. I just don't
That's why I wear them too.
feel like I don't feel like they retain the cold the way we want them to, or it doesn't behave in the same way. I think once it hits that air temp substance, and especially reacting with alcohol, I feel like it doesn't really cool it off. You're probably better sticking your bottle in the fridge if you just want it to be cool.
And then you're right. The few times I did it, it was like, all right, okay, first sip maybe chilled, and then it's like gone.
Yeah. Well, and then how do you drink it and not chip your teeth?
Yeah. You got to be very careful.
Rock slamming in your face every drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially towards
like
the bottom.
you're trying to get the last drop out. Like I just don't see that going well.
No.
Especially after the fourth whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You've had like the soda from like
Yeah.
Circle K or something, and it's got the ices kind of melted together, and you do this, and it all smashes in your face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it when it happens to other people.
Oh, 100%.
It happens to everybody.
So they're
I
sitting in
maybe-
my freezer, and I haven't used them in years,
Yeah.
but I don't want to throw them away because they were a gift, so I feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you throw stuff away.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of something else that's happened in the industry because it's so popular is there's a lot of gimmicky things out there.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about like the aging process. The aging process of whiskey is so funny. Like Blackened, for example, that's a Willet brand. And they play Metallica at it. And like that's like their gimmick to age it. And like Jefferson's
wait, what?
Ocean.
Wait, what now?
Yeah.
They play
It's-
Metallica at
they-
it?
Yeah. So
Because that's
they
their
play
brand. Black.
Metallica at the barrels.
Like in the beginning of Back to the Future, when Michael
Those
J.
big-
Fox plugs in,
Yes.
that's what they're doing to the barrels.
Correct. So these
Okay.
barrels are sitting in a rick house listening to Sandman, Enter the Sandman,
Okay.
and
So,
I am evil. Yes, I am.
Shaking, maybe because it's the
Yeah.
vibration.
Maybe.
mean-
I mean, remember, it's hard to say. I've tried it. It's fine. I actually just went to a Metallica concert, so I'm going to be a little biased. It's good. It's fine.
Oh, I fucking love Metallica.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
I
that
love
doesn't
it
mean I'm
too.
gonna drink this stupid gimmick whiskey.
Dude, they're like the Sebastian Bach of our day. Like from a composition of music, like try me. And I'm not a
Mhm.
huge fan. I just appreciate them as artists. But also like Jefferson's Ocean, they put barrels out to sea and they put it on a boat for a year and age it. Like
Oh, I thought you meant they just floated them out into the sea.
I was thinking that too. Maybe
They'll come back
Yeah.
into
eventually.
seawater.
yeah. I'm waiting for the Jefferson airplane where they fly it around for a while to see
There
if
you
that
go.
changes anything
They drop it from the airplane into the ocean.
while playing yacht rock at it.
And then
Yeah.
okay.
Oh my gosh. I did
Uh,
no, that's first time I heard about the Metallic whiskey being that. I've heard of
Yeah.
it, but I didn't know their process.
Yeah. Yeah. They play Metallica at the barrels.
Okay. Kind of a question in
For
that
10 years.
in that category. Is there a whiskey that is relatively new that you think is good? You know, like a lot of these whiskeys are hundreds of years old or 50 years. Is there something that's come out in the past 10 years that's a good whiskey?
So I'm going to be biased. The next one we're going to drink is definitely falls in that class, but I
Okay.
could be because of the story behind it, not just my palate. I'm a huge fan of River Wilderness. They were just bought, but it's from what I'm hearing, it's still their juice, their process, everything. And they're fairly young and their bourbon, for being a young or no age statement, it's escaping my mind. It drinks like a 12-year.
Oh, wow.
The first time I tried it, I was like, this has to be at least a 10, if not a 12-year. It's well balanced, nice and smooth, maybe just above like that entry level. Like if you're just getting to whiskey where it's a little more complex, a little spicier, maybe just a little bit hotter, but not that intense Kentucky hub of the Blade and Bow. They're probably one of my favorites.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And from a Bottle and Bond, there's a younger whiskey. I don't know how old Bibb and Tucker is, but that's probably a good one that's in that under 50 price range.
Sure.
Is there any bottle behind you that you're just dread drinking again?
That I'm just drinking?
Dread, you don't look forward to sipping again. Like you bought it, you tried it, and you're like, I tried it a second time. And you're like, I just don't like it.
So I don't like anything. We talked about this a little bit earlier. The campfire whiskey.
Sure.
I absolutely love the distillery, the High West. They're out of Utah. It's definitely a unique flavor profile in multiple expressions, but it is intense. Like it is literally like licking the campfire after it's gone out. It's a lot for me. And I bet with the right cocktail, it probably tastes phenomenal. Maybe somebody else's palate, but that one will be there. It will.
That's for the kids.
Yeah. Or the guests that I'd like to leave very soon.
Well, that says something. She didn't
Yeah.
pick that bottle for us. She's like, I picked one. It's this one.
Yeah.
It may
We're
convey
gonna do
with
that
a
one
house.
first.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the only one because again, I felt like it was more gimmicky than anything.
Sure.
It really didn't. And it's like maybe you have a favorite child that you'll never say out loud, but you do love them all. I can find something good in almost any whiskey I try. There's very few that I'm like,
Yeah.
that's just not good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm like, they're just not for me,
Sure.
but
All
very
right.
You
few.
find that you and your husband have the same
Oh.
taste in whiskeys that you can.
No,
Okay.
no. So not at all. He definitely tends to be on the sweeter side where I love a good port or sherry finish. I think that's one of the reasons I like that grain spot is
Mm.
I just love that finish on it. The finishing process is very interesting and can change so much about a whiskey. And I love them hotter. I love that Kentucky hug. It kind of ruins the profile for him.
Okay.
But I love that because then we have a wide breadth of selection
Yeah.
and dialogue, you know.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Does he like his neat or on the rocks as well?
So
Or-
he's an old fashioned drinker.
Mhm.
But he will drink it on the rocks if he's gonna drink something like as is. He's a big fan of Whistle Pig, which is out of Vermont.
Sure.
They do primarily ryes. They do have they have a piggyback bourbon that they came out with that's pretty decent. So
Okay.
yeah.
Definitely see them. All right.
Yeah.
But
You do
yeah,
see
it
a
just
lot of
opens
Whistle
up.
Pig, yeah.
This opens up for more to try.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Let's get to the last one, man.
All right, let's do this. All right,
Let's
this
do it.
one.
Oh, sorry. Did you want me to reach that?
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. I got it.
You're the bartender of this thing.
And this one's got a great story.
This one's incredible story. Like, I'm not gonna cry, but I might tear up a little bit.
Oh boy.
So this is Uncle Nearest, and this is the entry level. Sorry, I'm gonna put a little hurting on you. There are other levels to it. I think there's an 1894, 1883. But this is the 1856. So this is 100 proof. This is a spicy meatball. It's actually the most awarded American whiskey from 2019 to 2022.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
wow.
started when they formulated it in 2017, they started as a source, which means they bought their juice from somebody else and they finished it themselves. But now they have a 300-acre farm where they're growing and distilling everything themselves.
Okay.
So the name comes from Nathan Nearest Green. Is a former slave and actually almost forgotten to history completely if it wasn't for a woman named Fauna, who was an author, and we'll talk about her in a minute. Back then, this is like mid 1800s. I had a dog sneak in here that was going through my bottles now and being nosy. In the mid 1800s, when he was born, he was either born or abducted into slavery. And a lot of these stories are lost to history because they're oral, word of mouth. There's not a lot of photographic evidence because in the mid 1800s, if you had a photograph, you was because you were affluent, right?
Right.
Or right. It just wasn't common back then.
Sure.
But he was also the most famous, as it turns out, as well as the first African-American master distiller in history that we know of.
Oh, wow.
So Fauna Weaver, she was the author, and her efforts of discovering the truth behind how the history of Jack Daniels came to be. In 2017, when Uncle Nearest Inc. was formed, Brown-Forman, which owns Jack Daniels, actually confirmed that Nathan Green was the first master distiller.
Okay.
So the story goes that Nathan worked with a man named Daniel Call, who was a preacher, grocer, and distiller himself. Preacher Call also had adopted or was the guardian of Jack Daniel. And Nathan decided to stay and work for Preacher Call after he was emancipated. And Preacher Call saw that Jack Daniel had an affinity for distillation. So he asked Nathan to teach him everything he knows. And what a lot of people don't know is the Jefferson County process, which is a staple for Tennessee whiskey. Nathan Green's credited. He's the grandfather of it. And that's when you distill it over maple coal in the distillation process, which gives it a very, very, very unique flavor. And I think Jack Daniel was probably around 15. And after he'd been working with Nathan for a while, Jack Daniel decided he's going to distill himself and ended up hiring Nathan Green to be his distiller. And again, all of this information until really 6 years ago was kind of buried, and no one really knew.
That recent. Wow.
Yeah. Only 6 years ago did they uncover that and confirm that this was legit. And if you go to the Uncle Nearest distillery and the Jack Daniel distillery, you're going to get versions of the story, like a Venn diagram. There's overlaps there.
Sure.
So if you ever get to go, do both. Do both. I highly encourage you to do both.
Great recommendation.
Yeah. So it's absolutely incredible. So today, the distillery is the only CEO that's an African American woman and master blender in the whiskey industry. So
Wow.
and every barrel is picked by a descendant of Nathan Green, and every bottle signed by whoever picked it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah. So still probably the newest one to the table with one of the longest histories. I mean,
yeah. This is what is this? V. Eddie Butler and his 5th generation master blender. Nice.
Yeah. It smells lovely.
It actually does.
Yeah.
And I like the name.
Yeah. So
anything with
that
uncle is fun.
Yeah. So she's the master blender.
Okay.
Or Edie Butler. Yeah. V. Edie Butler.
Well, here's to her.
Cheers. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Not a strong smell. I like it. Can't tell the smell.
That's the I'm feeling your hug.
Oh, that's a big hug. That is a huge hug. And I think that comes with being the higher proof, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think but
that is a smooth hug.
Wow.
You would expect
a hug from a dolphin.
I would expect 100 proof to have more heat on the front.
Yeah.
If you're talking dirty about dolphins over there,
hey,
they're aggressive.
Dolphins are known to rape, so I can't say that word. God damn it!
You can, but
George Carlin said I could.
Oh, I miss that man.
Right?
So I'm a Floridian, and we're taught not only not to zigzag away from alligators. That's a fallacy because those fuckers can run. I think we talked about that before. Don't swim with the dolphins. They will have sex with anything.
Kind of like swimming with you.
Yeah.
So when we see tourists, we see tourists jump in the water. I was like,
oh, have fun.
I don't know if you've been to prison.
You're about to be.
So I don't want a dolphin to hug me. So it's better than a hug from a dolphin.
Do it supervised where they're conditioned not to do that.
Supervised.
Yeah.
That's very good.
So yeah, this one's a little more complex and again, vastly different than everything else up here.
My eyes are watering.
Yeah. That is good.
Yeah.
It's got this weird sweetness.
Yeah, I was like just gonna say I'm this is sweet to me.
And it's like in the middle. It's not in the front, it's not in the back. It's like right in the middle.
You're
like
right.
Just pure sugar cane.
You're right. Yes. The first kind of not too hard beginning, and then the sweetness is in the middle.
Yeah.
I really like that.
This is the first one I've tasted that I can actually say there's like a cherry essence to it.
Nice.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't pick up those notes. Like in things in general when I drink.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, there's some fruit sweet in there. Wow.
I feel like I can't take a big enough drink of any of them to pick up.
Well, you could.
Like, I'm like, how much is a sip? Because I feel like I'm taking less than a sip.
It's less than a guzzle.
But you want a fair amount in your mouth to be able to get it around.
But I do love the word guzzle. It's a great word.
Yeah. I have a very dirty song that came to mind that I'm not going to announce here, but I will teach you on another day.
I think it's why I like the word guzzle.
The whole Nantucket thing puts it to shame.
Yeah.
No, I actually get like peppercorn.
Oh,
and I don't know if that makes sense, but like there's a note, like it's there's sweetness, but then there's a spice that's not like Christmas spice or cooking or baking spices. It's just got a little bit of heat without being like
being spicy. Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
so I think it's peppercorn.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
100%. Everything you've said about this makes sense. I'm feeling, tasting, and everything. But I really like it.
Wow.
Yeah. But that one's a dangerous one because it is 100 proof. So that one, if not drank responsibly, will sneak up on you for sure. Ask me how I know.
It could.
Don't crossfade with this one, is what she's saying.
No. And I don't want to try that one over ice either. Yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This one out of all of them, actually the green spot I would do neat. But I'm desperate to try that in an espresso martini now too, to see how that tastes. It's like my new thing to experiment with. This one I typically drink neat.
Okay.
yes.
And
I
it's
can see
also
that.
like maybe a subconscious like respect thing too.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's got a great history too.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
think that the great history is, like you said before,
Impacting you?
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think I'm loving both of it. I think I would have liked the taste regardless.
Well, you'll
Yeah.
never know because you tasted it after she told
That's
you the
true.
story.
That's true. Well, and after I looked it up. So
Oh, okay.
going into it, I already liked the story.
It really is an incredible story. And they have a short video on the website. If you want to
Okay.
see, I think it's unclenearest.com. It's well produced. I think there's a famous actor that kind of narrates you through the story. And then they have like a little, they did a great job with making sure the information, is out there. So, and they have 4 popular expressions. I think it's 1884 is the other one. Which is this would be their entry level. That one's a step above. I'd actually put this one against it. It's great. But for the price point, I mean, the 1856 is kind of my jam.
Yeah.
Nice.
And as you said, they're all between $40 and $60,
Yeah.
which is a great great value for any of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes them accessible. Like I want a nice bottle of whiskey that isn't going to kill my wallet. Like I want to treat myself, but I'm not going to drop $200-$300 on this ridiculous allocation market. There's so many great whiskeys now that you can get at these price points. It's almost hard to choose.
Well, and at the distillery, if I read that correct, this distillery.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for helping. Thanks for helping me reach. They have a restaurant bar and they have the world's largest bar.
Oh, I didn't know that.
518 feet.
Holy
Bar
smokes.
At the distillery.
That's a lot of dancing after I've been drinking.
And they have bands and stuff. It looked like
Yeah.
it'd be a great place to visit.
How long is the bar at Buck Bradley's in Milwaukee?
I don't know.
Or maybe not Buck Bradley. One of those bars that used to be that's right across the street from where the Bradley Center was. From the fight you walk in and that bar is it's like a block long. You know what I mean? So I don't know how long that would be, but it's huge.
Sure.
Probably
What is it? 518 feet?
I don't know. That's why I asked you.
Yeah, I don't.
You're from Milwaukee.
I don't. I just thought it was a fun fact.
So what are you sipping on these days? Like I have behind me another one, if you haven't tried it, and we're not going to include it here because after this one, I'm probably done for the night. I don't want to be speaking in cursive to your listeners.
We do encourage that though.
I tend to like lean towards Willett's Pot Still. It looks like it's got a cute bottle, right? It looks like a genie came out of it.
Okay.
But it's an easy sipper. So what's yours?
I've been drinking a lot of Jameson, sipping a lot of Jameson lately. Yeah.
Nice.
I should explore more. I do it when I'm out, but I tend to not buy bottles of things I don't know. And between Tullamore, so I always have Tullamore here.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And Jameson, and I go back and forth, which one I like more. Sometimes if I want a bite, I go to Jameson. If I like a smooth, I go to Tullamore.
Nice.
And we talked about, I've never tried like the higher end
of Tullamore,
the the purple bottle and all that stuff. So I'd like to get into that sometime.
If you're down for the sweet notes, Powers makes great expressions. Even their entry level's really nice. It's very malted.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very malted, a little sweeter. And then their 12 years just outstanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. I was in an Irish bar in New York and I love literally Irish immigrant bar in New York. And I'm just like, I want whatever whiskey you drink.
Yeah.
And he shot glass and a healthy pour. And he goes, there you go. And it drank so smooth that I don't remember the hours between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Been there.
I've had Powers. It is good.
But yeah. It's sneaky though. Again,
Okay.
it drinks so smooth that you
Sure.
You better be careful.
There's a Irish bar up north. Well, not up north, actually. It's down south. Doesn't matter. But we went in and they do shot of the day or sipper of the day, and they pick different Irish whiskey that's on sale. But yeah, so I always, whenever I go in, whatever you're suggesting that day is what I try.
I like that. It's
And I think
adventurous.
that's where I had Powers, actually, is that. And it's the name is escaping me, but whatever.
Yeah.
Now when you go to this bar and you get the shot of whiskey that they're
It comes a glass of sip.
Oh, okay. That's what I was gonna say. Is it a shooter or do you
No, it's a sipper. Yeah, it's a sip of the day. I think a sip of the day is what they call it.
Sure.
Oh, I love that. That's genius.
Yeah.
We should. I'm going to recommend that to our speakeasy down here.
There you go.
So it's a nice way to try stuff that you're never gonna try, right? I mean, that's the thing. You get into what you like, and it's hard to branch off, and because you're like, well, I don't want to spend $20 on a glass and then be like, oh shit, I should have got what I normally get.
Yeah.
So
I love me a good flight.
Oh, there you go.
There's a place in St. Pete called Urban Stillhouse. If you're ever in the area, St. Pete's actually a great place to visit. It's got some of the most beautiful beaches in the country.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing place to go. Easy to get to, flying to Tampa, the whole nines. But Urban Stillhouse, and it's also a distillery, the Horse Soldier Distillery. And it's owned by a few of the guys that I don't know if you read or saw the movie 12 Strong.
Yes.
Okay. So owned by a few of those guys. So that's their distillery. And wonderful expressions, a little bit outside of this price point. Most of them well worth it. I think they're really, really good for most palates. But they do an incredible flight, and they do it with a story too.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. So do we want to go around the table and
yeah, let's get a rating.
Give our or not just the order. I mean, or your least, and we're
quick. Would you have it again? In which one you would go? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Ladies first. She's looking at you. You're looking at her.
See her.
Okay. So I am a big Irish whiskey fan, and I like Green Spot.
So you're biased because you've had it.
Well, but then I tried these three. So at first I was like, oh, Michter's is really good. And then I was like, Bourbon is even better. Uncle Nearest is very smooth and tasty for what it all entails. But my favorite would be the Bourbon, Michter's, Uncle Nearest, and then the Green Spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did we just become best friends?
You came in with a clear front runner and then finished last.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic for you.
I love it because I love being introduced to new stuff
Yeah.
like this, because you can't sit down and just taste test whiskey like you can beer. You're going to be fucking slow.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to take it easy. So I'm very happy to try those. They were all
awesome.
delicious.
Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed them.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Next.
So this is a tough one because obviously I had biasm like coming in.
Yes.
But I have to say, Uncle Nearest is going to be my first. I do like them a little spicier, a little heavier, a little hotter. Then Bourbon and Green Spot, I'm gonna have a hard time. They're kind of tight. Bourbon has been a tried and true for me for a long time, but I'm fascinated. It's like that new hot chick that just started school. Like I'm just checking her out. She seems really cool. Smells good.
I can see her
Think we could be
thong.
friends.
I'm envisioning your thong.
Yeah, that one was a surprise.
Just like,
yeah. Usually Irish whiskeys for me are very, very polarizing. Like I struggle with Canadian whiskeys. That's usually not something that my palate is good with. They're just so sharp and musk.
Sure.
This was so easy to drink. So it may end up being the number 2 just because I'm fascinated with it. There's like a novelty to it, but it drinks very, very well. Michter's is my last one only because it's a rye, and typically I'm not a rye person. I'll drink a little bit of Whistle Pig. I'll drink a little bit of Michter's and then Widow Jane. And that's pretty much the expansion of my rye.
Okay. And they do have different ages. This is a 10-year. I don't know if we talked about that.
Yeah.
The green is, but they have a blue, a yellow spot, and a red spot. So they have, which is different ages.
Yeah. I mean, such different things in my line of work. I'm just gonna leave it there.
That's true. Well, we'll make sure to put the link for what else you do for work in the show description. And they can decipher that.
I actually wore the green shirt for Green Spot just to
Oh,
show
nice.
a little
I
extra love and support
Didn't
there.
notice that.
Nice.
Obviously, the G spot's my favorite.
Yeah, the G spot.
Of the spots.
Same.
Of the
Same.
spots.
No, you got it right the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know we were talking about that. So yes.
Now
everybody's-
so
so now-
change your vote.
Now that goes back to number one for her.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So I got to think because to me, I like Uncle Nearest the best. That's my favorite. I really enjoyed it. I liked everything about it. But then I think Green Spot is my second.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was well picked. I usually don't get that. I'm usually not surprised. It was well done.
Well, that was all her pick.
Yeah,
She's the Irish whiskey connoisseur, so she
So
was.
we
the one
are
who
best
picked the Irish.
friends.
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
The last Irish whiskey I bought that I remember I brought over for one of our steak, and I thought it started with a K. I don't remember. And I did not like that a whole lot. And it was like a 15-year something, and I wasn't a big fan of it. So I've been leery of others, but I love Irish whiskey.
I think it's a fallacy that people think, oh, the older it is, the better it
Right.
tastes. I've had 24-year and it tastes like shoes
Yeah.
because it's been in the barrel so long. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like there's not a lot of other things to break it up.
Yeah,
That's true.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess like the others years. Uncle Nearest is creeping up on me.
Yeah.
Definitely two. I want to say that the bow is my least.
Okay.
Yeah, as of right now, I did not like it on the rocks because it feel like it just killed it. It just killed it like it was nothing, like very instantly. So I would go back to neat. But yeah, I would say that's fourth for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's a very polarizing one.
Yes.
You know, either you love it, hate it. Most people aren't indifferent to it.
I didn't hate it by any means.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but it would be the one I'd go to least. But I do love the story and I love the key.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's got some sentiment, a little poeticism in there. Right. And a little bit of novelty. Like, let's be honest. We like the novelty. We love the little running horses on the Blanton's bottles,
do.
everyone. Right. Like,
And then there is a
and the
5-key club
mm-hmm.
that if you collect all 5 keys,
Yes.
and if you want to tell, if you collect all the different 5 keys, take a picture of it and send it to the website. They'll etch your name on a glass
Mm-hmm.
and put it in the distillery.
you got one yet?
Oh, I only have 1 key.
This
I
this
have
guy
not
is a
done
sucker
that.
for that kind of shit.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is a sucker for that.
I
probably
have
buy
not
more.
done that.
No.
And what I should do is take a picture of the keys I have and send them to you, and you're gonna laugh your ass off
Oh, jeez.
because
But
it
are
looks
they
like
all-
it looks like a swinger party.
Do you keep them in a fishbowl?
Nobody should.
That would be funny. So do you have all 5?
I'm pretty sure. I
You
think
must.
I have not taken the time to sort them all, but I mean, it's like the Christmas lights and Christmas Vacation. They're just all kind of like
Yeah. So I'm
together
assuming
in a
it's just
drawer.
the front that's different on all of them.
yeah, and it's like the actual key cut, like you were going to like put it in like a door.
Sure,
Like
okay.
how it's cut is totally different, and then the head is a little different too.
Oh, okay.
So really, if I'm going to go buy another bottle, I need to bring that with me so I don't buy the same one.
Ooh, that
Or are
would
they-
be the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not always the smartest.
You're not.
No.
Yeah.
Because it's not the different key per years or anything or different brand or expressions. It's they're randomly put on.
Yeah. I think
Oh, okay.
their process is a little randomized, but I don't know that for fact.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
So
Well, there you go.
All right.
There's our little story on swinger parties.
I like that theory. I mean, because you're just gonna keep going back and getting more bottles so you can get all the keys.
Right.
Right?
You know you are.
I know I will.
Yeah.
I want my name etched in a glass. In somewhere that'll never be, but it'll be fun.
You're nothing if not predictable.
hey, consistency counts.
That's
does.
me.
It
That's
does.
me.
Yeah.
I know where to find them all the time. Somewhere where we can buy used DVDs and
All right, Mr. Non-whiskey. What do you got?
Well, this was definitely my favorite. And you know why? Because like you said, you put it over ice and it tastes like nothing. So I like it.
Okay.
The green spot was my second. This one was third, and I did not like the rye at all.
Okay.
So the rye I would never drink again if I no.
Yeah.
So
would you ever
It's
drink
tough.
the bowl
Yeah.
straight again?
no.
Okay. So if you're going to drink this, your favorite,
Yeah.
you have to go over ice.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If I'm drinking whiskey, it's on ice.
So we could totally have a bottle of that
We
because
could.
I would drink it neat and
Right.
you'd have it over ice and we would
That's right.
totally share it.
Right.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
I
And
don't.
this is why we run the world.
Yeah.
You mean us four together as a
absolutely.
as a council? Is
We're
that
doing it.
come on now.
Sure.
Hey.
My girl.
Yeah, they run the world.
They do.
We're just in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Your half heart necklace will be in the mail tomorrow.
I've never gotten one of those.
We're watching Step Brother tonight.
Yeah. Right.
Did we just become best
It's like my favorite. Oh my gosh.
So good.
Oh, you guys
Um,
are so much fun.
Well, tonight was a blast. I mean, I can't
And we're only
thank you
as,
enough for introducing us to some really good stuff.
yes, and we're only as fun as the guests. So you know,
Aw.
if you get a guest who isn't a lot of fun, it's hard to be a lot of fun. So, and I'm not going to
That's
say
fair.
we've had a lot of them. We might have one or two of them.
Aw, shucks.
So,
but they're not all 10,000 view guests.
Right.
So can't thank you enough.
the creme de la creme.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. I love it. So yeah, let me know when the tequila tasting is.
We will definitely do that. If you're down for it, we are definitely down for it.
Absolutely.
These are
100%.
these are a fun kind of episode.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. And it expands us. And hopefully, other people out there can just, I'll try that and see what they think.
Right. Right. It's awesome.
That's the beauty of it.
And I get invited. So
When there's alcohol involved, she gets invited.
Yeah.
No,
She's
no,
in, I'm in.
let me rephrase that. She doesn't get invited. She just muscles her
She
way
just
in.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you. I want to tell you, I turned 50 tomorrow, and this was a fun way to start. So,
Ooh, ain't
thank
50
you very
nifty?
much.
Well,
Yeah.
happy early birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any big plans?
Yes. Yeah, we're going down to a buddy's of mine. All of us are going down. We got a band coming down, and they're going to play for us, and a lot of debauchery. So
Heck yeah.
eat, drink, and be merry.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd say
eat,
send
drink,
pictures,
smoke,
but-
and be merry.
Say some pictures, but you may not want proof.
Well, we will definitely hit up the Instagram
We want
live,
it live,
a few
yeah.
times. So yeah.
Oh, I know what I'm doing this weekend now.
So we will definitely try to entertain some
That'll be
folks.
Friday night. And
That's
got 'em-
amazing.
and we between Leah and myself, she did the baking, but we made, as he mentioned, 35 milligram Pop-Tarts with marijuana butter for him for his birthday. So we want to get that on camera.
That's great. And POT, right?
Yeah,
Trademark
Pop-Tarts.
pending.
Pop-Tarts.
Yes.
I got you.
Absolutely.
I got you.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. I cannot wait to see the outcome.
It's gonna be a fun night.
Yes, we all have off Friday, so it's going to be good.
Just like this was a fun night.
Yes.
So
Aw.
Loved it.
thank you very much for doing it again.
Appreciate it.
Anytime, you guys. You've
All
been
right.
fantastic.
All right. Have a
Next
good
time,
night.
You too.
Tequila.
Night,
we'll
guys.
invite you here. Oh shit, we can't
Wait, is it true to the clothes? Did the clothes come off?
with tequila.
Tequila makes the clothes come off?
Well, so does the subscription, but
Ah, good point. Yes, that's before we let you go. Tell them where to find you.
Yeah,
My God.
absolutely. Thank you for
We are terrible at our jobs.
so as I am a full-time content creator of the adult nature. So if you'd like to find out what kind of content and if it's your jam, you can go to mrsmilford.com, MRSMILFORD, or yourstepmom.com.
And
And
if
you
it's
can find
not,
me there.
if it's not your jam, I say this nicely, you're gay. All right.
That's okay. They like boobs too.
That is okay.
They do.
That is okay.
They do.
But-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, all are welcome.
And women.
And
Yeah,
women.
absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
legit. Please.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
sure you have plenty of women
Yeah.
that are watching as well.
I have a few.
I would imagine.
So,
I would
yeah.
imagine. Well, thank
Well,
you
thank
again.
you again.
Enjoy some more whiskey and have a good night.
I will. Night, guys.
Good
All
night.
right.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. The tavern is closed for now, but we'd love to have you back for more fun next time. Seriously, though, get your asses out of here.